What's up guys, Super Michael Gaming here, welcome back to another video. And very recently, I made a video ranking all the Hot Wheels Beat That cars from worst to best. And today we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to rank all 16 Hot Wheels Beat That tracks from worst to best. So without further ado, let's rank all 16 Hot Wheels Beat That tracks from worst to best. And starting in the trash tier, we have Pinball Pursuit. In my opinion, Pinball Pursuit is my least favorite track in the entire game. Why? Because it's too short. Yeah, Pinball Pursuit's really short and easy, man. It's easy to get consistent wins, the track is so short and never really happened to them. But it does have some redeeming qualities, like driving for the pinball machine and into the model railways at the beginning of the track. But other than that, Pinball Pursuit's kinda outlandish, so I recommend you skip this track, cause you're not missing enough if you do skip it. And the last one in the trash tier is Multi-Lane Mash. For starters, Multi-Lane Mash looks fantastic compared to Pinball Pursuit. It's much longer, but that's the problem. It's longer, which is a good thing, but it's also more difficult than Pinball Pursuit, and probably one of the hardest tracks in the entire game. Why? Because there's a lot of straightaways, dude, and if you make one teeny mistake, you are destined to lose, because the CPU in this one are really fast, especially on Inferno difficulty, man. So yeah, Multi-Lane Mash is probably the hardest track in the game, but it's a bit better than Pinball Pursuit in my opinion. Starting in the Matt tier, we have Train Set Twist. For starters, Train Set Twist looks pretty good. Driving through the model railways is a pretty good thing, but you're never really driving in the model railways most of the time until the end of the course. You're mainly driving around a little attic, and that's it. And also the track is pretty short, that's why this track is in the meh tier. But overall, it's pretty better than Pinball Pursuit and Multi-Lane Mash combined, but it's not my favorite attic track, it's too short. And joining in the meh tier is Underwater Washout. Now, Underwater Washout on paper is a bit better than Train Set Twist, but my only complaint is this time is the CPUs suck in this track. So yeah, the reason the CPUs suck at this track is because that crap section at the very beginning of the race, which they always get stuck on no matter what. And they always get lapped, even on turbo out of all difficulties. So yeah, overall, Underwater Washout was a bit of an improvement over Train Set Twist, but it's also not my favorite either because the CPUs just suck in this one, in my opinion. And the final one in meh tier is Hairpin Highway. Hairpin Highway on paper looks fantastic, it's way better than all the other attic tracks we covered, but it's not my favorite either. It's more longer than the other two tracks like Pinball Pursuit and Train Set Twist, but it's not my favorite attic track either, because it's a little bit difficult and the fans get in the way sometimes, and also the TPUs are kind of difficult in this one. But other than that, Hairpin Highway is a little bit of improvement over Train Set Twist and Pinball Pursuit combined for the attic. And starting in the good tier, we have Science Speedway. Science Speedway is my favorite attic track of all time due to its unique stuff. Something about driving through the chemistry table and into the pool table is so fantastic, so that's why it's my favorite attic track. Sure, it may be short like all the other attic tracks we covered, but it's more fun. So overall, Science Speedway is a huge improvement of the other three attic tracks I covered earlier, and probably the best of the attic in my opinion. Next up in the good tier is Floorboard Frenzy. Floorboard Frenzy as a track is pretty good, and a pretty good track for the beginning of the game, which is really cool. The design looks pretty good on the Floorboard Frenzy level, the music's fantastic here, and also the design of it is pretty cool too. Yeah, pretty good starter track for the bedroom, so yeah. Next up in the good tier is Tenpin Tearaway. Tenpin Tearaway is a pretty fantastic track. Sure, it has a lot of twists and turns, but it also has a cool aesthetic of driving through the machinery section into the two loopy-loos at the end, which is pretty cool. So overall, Tenpin Tearaway is a pretty decent bowling alley track, which is really cool. So yeah, I'll give it a pretty good rating. And the final one in the good tier is Desktop Dash. Desktop Dash is a fantastic bedroom track, man. The design of it looks pretty cool. Driving through the bathroom at the beginning and driving through desktops is so cool. So yeah, this track is pretty good and a pretty good track for the bedroom. So yeah, Desktop Dash is pretty good. And starting in the amazing tier is Bedroom Brawl. Bedroom Brawl is a pretty good, decent bedroom track. The first half you're driving on a floorboard and the second half you're driving on desktop near the end. It's really cool. The floorboard section of this track looks fantastic. They really did a good job of making the floorboards in this track. So overall, Bedroom Brawl is a pretty decent bedroom track, but I think there's a better bedroom track that comes next, however. And ranking the final track of Bedroom in the amazing tier, Bathroom Break. Now, Bathroom Break, there's a lot to love about Bathroom Break. This track looks fantastic. The first half you're driving in a bathroom, and the second half you're driving in a bedroom is so cool. So yeah, and I like how your car gets covered in soapy bubbles every time you drive for them, which is really cool. So overall, Bathroom Break is probably the best of the bedroom tracks in my opinion, due to its unique parts of the bathroom, driving through a bedroom, and also the music's fantastic as well. And the corkscrew is a bit of a challenge as well too, so that's pretty cool. Just sneaking by Bathroom Break, however, is Spooky Sprint. Spooky Sprint as a mini golf track is fantastic. There's a lot of spooky monsters that had, hence the name of the title. You got like jack-o'-lanterns, mummies, skeleton dudes that try to block your path, and also this little gate section at the beginning. The gate section is the most difficult part, however. Trying to drive for the gate is a little bit difficult. But other than that, Spooky Sprint is a pretty good mini golf track and a great start to this zone. Next up in the A tier range is Witch Doctor Way. Witch Doctor Way is an even better mini golf track because of its cool music. The length of this track is pretty cool, and also driving through tiki heads most of the time, and this volcano section is really cool. The volcano section, however, is a little bit more difficult. It's so skinny and narrow, that's why it's more difficult. But other than that, Witch Doctor Way is a pretty good mini golf track, and a pretty good one too. And the final one in the amazing tier is Arcade Alley. Arcade Alley is a pretty good track too, man, and a pretty good ending to the amazing tier because of its really cool stuff. Driving for the arcades is pretty cool, that crossroads track is a little bit difficult and challenge, driving for the hockey table is so cool, the snack areas look fantastic, and also the music in this one looks fantastic too, but it's a little bit longer than all the other bowling alley tracks, however. But despite its flaw, Arcade Alley looks fantastic and a pretty good way to end off the amazing tier of this section. And we finally come down to the final two tracks of Hot Wheels Beat That, and first up is Bowling Ball Bash. Bowling Ball Bash on paper is fantastic. It's my favorite bowling alley track, man. Something about driving through the machinery section and into the ball return tunnel area is such a feeling, man. It makes you feel like you're in a real bowling alley, which is really cool. But my only complaint about this track is the roundabout section near the end of the course, but despite its flaw, Bowling Ball Bash is my second favorite track in the game. So now let's move on to the number one track and the best track in Hot Wheels Beat That. And we finally ended up the masterpiece off with the T-Rex Rush level. Ah yes, T-Rex Rush, the best track in Hot Wheels Beat That. Not only is it my favorite track, it also has fantastic music, the layout of the track is so cool, and also driving for the dinosaurs is fantastic, especially getting eaten by the T-Rex and the water section at the end. But my only complaint about this track is that stupid loop-de-loop section at the end. Because mainly when you go for the loop sometimes, your car just does not want to go fast for some reason. I don't know if that's an error, or if that's a thing added to the game. But other than that, T-Rex Rush is my favorite track in Hot Wheels Beat That. Well guys, that's going to be it for today's episode, so thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell for more notifications in the future. This is Michael Puglisi, signing off.